Yachts and teak decks have long gone together. Teak's rich golden wood is incredibly durable, salt-resistant, and rot-proof, which made it the gold standard for luxury yacht decking. But today, that romance is crumbling. High-end builders and owners are waking up to a hard truth. Most old-growth teak, especially the finest Burmese teak, is now a legal and environmental headache. Because of the sanctions, once lucrative teak decks have become legal landmines. We've seen major fines and court cases. In late 2024, Dutch prosecutors slapped Ocean Co., builder of Bezos's yacht Koru, with about €150,000, approximately $157,000, in fines for using teak with opaque origins. In the UK, Sunseeker was hit with £240,000 for importing Myanmar teak without proper due diligence. And the US market isn't innocent. A recent Guardian investigation found US companies quietly importing conflict teak despite the Lacey Act ban. The heart of the problem is Myanmar's old-growth teak. It's supremely durable, warm-looking, and easy on bare feet, exactly why captains prized it. But over decades, Myanmar's military regimes have milked teak sales to fund themselves, with almost no regard for the environment or human rights. After the 2021 coup, Western governments imposed sanctions on Myanmar's state timber firms.
Almost immediately after the coup, the EU and the US passed sanctions against the import of Myanmar teak. Now, Myanmar teak, or Burma teak as we know it, is the finest teak used for furniture and used for ship decking. These sanctions banned import of all teak from Myanmar. This story is a deep-rooted investigation into how this teak finds its way still to Europe, America, and all over the world, despite the sanctions.
From that point on, all teak from Myanmar, often called Burmese teak, became effectively illegal to import into the US, UK, or EU. Any teak still floating around these markets must be old stock, or it's being smuggled through loopholes, for instance relabeled as plantation teak from other countries. Investigations have found traders using intermediaries in Singapore, Thailand, and elsewhere to sidestep the bans. The environmental toll is severe. Myanmar's teak trade has been called blood teak or conflict teak, a luxury good tied to ethnic cleansing and environmental destruction. The Environmental Investigation Agency warns that at the current rate of logging, Myanmar will lose its forests by 2035. Boat design firms are now sounding the alarm. Even planting more teak trees isn't fast enough. A teak plantation takes 30 to 50 years to mature, and the wood lacks the tight grain of ancient trees. In short, the ecology is fragile, and the old-growth supply is irreplaceable in our lifetimes. As the teak supply tightens, yacht builders are feeling the pinch. Reports say that Sunreef Yachts, Poland/Dubai, has now banned teak entirely, switching to thermally modified woods and other materials across its fleet. They say their secret sauce of heat-treated woods performs just as well and needs less upkeep. High-profile owners are experimenting too. For example, Google's co-founder Sergey Brin decked his new 142-meter superyacht entirely in Tsumo, a German-developed engineered wood, instead of traditional teak. Yacht builders are now exploring a menagerie of deck materials. Each has pros and cons, but all aim to balance durability, grip, appearance, and sustainability. Key options include plantation or ethically sourced teak. Teak grown on managed plantations in India, Indonesia, Costa Rica, etc., and certified by bodies like FSC can still be used. These teak trees are younger, often approximately 30 to 50 years old, and produce smaller, narrower boards. The wood is good, but not as buttery smooth or long-lasting as old-growth teak. Plus, expanding plantations can sometimes harm rainforests if done irresponsibly. In practice, ethically sourced teak is in very short supply. Thermally modified woods, engineered teak. Fast-growing timbers, often pine or African hardwoods, are heated and treated to mimic teak's durability and stability.
Essentially what it does is it dries out the sugars in the wood and it collapses the wood cells, and it doesn't allow the wood to contain and hold moisture anymore. So it makes the wood last a lot longer, which is real important to increase the life cycle of any wood.
Tsumo is a prime example. It uses a quick-growing African tree, then applies heat, resin infusion, and drying so the boards behave like teak. On Sergey Brin's yacht, Tsumo reportedly meets or even exceeds teak's performance while being traceable and free of Myanmar links. Another is Akoya, a Dutch product that catalyzes softwood with acetic anhydride, a kind of industrial vinegar. This changes the wood's molecules so it won't soak up water or rot. Akoya decks can last 25 to 50 years and are fully recyclable. Advanced synthetic composites. Fully artificial decks have come a long way. S-Thec, a patented thermoset material, is now widely used on high-end yachts. It's made from biomaterials, no PVC or real wood, is 8 millimeters thick, and doesn't absorb water or get greasy. S-Thec stays cooler than teak in the sun and can even be recycled or retopped for a second life. Other manufacturers make PVC or polyurethane decking, like Herculan, designed to look like teak. These can come very close in appearance and grip, though some owners worry about a plastic feel. Cork decking. A surprising underdog is cork. Yes, the same material used for wine stoppers. Cork decking. Brands include Marine Deck 2000, Sea Cork, Aqua Cork, is lightweight, naturally waterproof, and never gets hot underfoot. Cork trees, mainly in Portugal/Spain, can be harvested every 8 to 9 years without cutting the tree down. On boats, cork is often ground into pellets and bonded into flexible sheets or tiles. It's grippy, easy to repair or replace, and feels softer under boots. Luxury tenders and refits are increasingly using cork, especially in areas like cockpits or flybridges where heat is an issue. Green teak laminate. This is a crafty reuse of leftover timber. Wood that's too knotted or imperfect for conventional decking can be sliced into thin veneers, layered, and glued together. The result is a laminated board that from above looks almost identical to vertical grain teak. Its fibers run perpendicular to the plank, so it's extremely stable. One yacht maker reports having entire 100 meters plus decks built with this green teak veneer. Exotic hardwoods. Certain tropical hardwoods resist rot and termites naturally. African Iroko and South American greenheart are sometimes cited. They can be nearly as hard and water-friendly as teak. Iroko, often called African teak though unrelated, ages to a rich copper color, and greenheart is incredibly dense. The downside, they can be very difficult to work with, blunting tools quickly, and greenheart especially can splinter. Greenheart is excellent for hulls and docks. Shackleton's Endurance was sheathed in it, but it's heavy and not ideal for yacht decks. Iroko is easier to use and is found on some classic tall ship decks, but it's not immune to the same supply and certification issues as teak. Each alternative comes with trade-offs. A composite deck can look nearly perfect, but it feels different. A sustainable wood like Akoya is eco-friendly but may look paler. Cork is soft and eco-positive but has a very different texture. What all the above share is that they don't tie back to illegal logging in Myanmar, and they free the industry from a depleting and dangerous resource. For boat owners and designers today, this means the teak debate isn't theoretical, it affects projects now. If you're building or refitting, you might not even be able to order Myanmar teak. Any supplier should be ready to prove a clear supply chain via FSC, DNA tests, and documentation for any teak sold as legal. Expect prices to stay high. Old-growth teak in Europe was still around 30,000 euros per cubic meter in 2023, and plantation teak only slightly cheaper. The industry consensus is that true Burmese teak is effectively gone from the market. On the plus side, this challenge has driven rapid innovation. Some owners have even turned it into a badge of honor, like Sergey Brin showcasing Tsumo on a mega yacht, or boutique builders offering no-teak packages. Early adopters of alternatives report that many guests can't even tell the difference, especially when the pattern is right. Designers now often present the alternative as a premium choice with its own advantages: better grip, cooler in sun, or eco-friendly bragging rights. In short, boat owners should start thinking beyond teak now. Ask your yard or joinery about these options. See, for example, a Kebony-treated pine deck, used by some European yards, or an S-Thec composite sample. Feel it underfoot. You may find you like the alternatives as much as the real thing, or at least understand why going all teak is increasingly untenable. Ultimately, the yacht industry is evolving. Teak's golden era as the only decking material is ending. It's being replaced not by one silver bullet, but a toolbox of solutions. Each boat will choose what fits its style. Some may mix a little ethical plantation teak with synthetic trim, others may go fully synthetic or cork. What's clear is that standing pat isn't an option. As one industry insider puts it, we do have to acknowledge that decks are working surfaces. Alternative materials can work, and it's up to designers and owners to embrace a different look. The silver lining? This shift could actually yield better decks in some ways. Deck materials like S-Thec can stay cleaner and require less sealing. Thermally treated woods can be milled in lengths that make use of smaller logs efficiently. Cork decks stay cooler and softer, and we all benefit from not driving deforestation. As awareness grows, in boardrooms, on forum threads, or at boat shows, the teak taboo is loosening. Expect more consensus and market availability of these substitutes in the next few years. By the end of this decade, a no-teak superyacht may be commonplace rather than odd. For now, boat owners should educate themselves and discuss alternatives early. The era of risk-taking on teak decks is fading. Going green, or at least greener, is the new norm.